No, that thing. That's alright, isn't it?
What's
that
that?
thing's up.
That thing.
Yeah, that'd be right.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, let me get the right page of notes. It'll be ready to go.
Yes. Waiting with bated breath, they are.
Why is I don't know where I started. Huh?
In fairness, if there's a note on there that's just like Deja, what is her outfit? That could be from any week.
Genuinely. No, that's the right note. Love Cameron, what do I put on? That's a Snatch game. Oh, may as well start because we were reading, weren't we? That's why.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's the beginning then. Right. Okay. I reach edit these videos to cut the beginnings bits out. And do thumbnails.
I think the audience would have loved that bit.
Do you think? Actually, these videos are getting more views than I thought. I checked the other day.
Oh, really?
Like close to 100.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. I'm like, now I'm like, oh, maybe I should put some effort in. Yeah. Okay. Yo. What up? It's me, Seafoam Soldier. And today I got with me.
Yeah. You got Lil Bob.
Don't try and rebrand yourself to go like House of Deja. It seems. I don't think that's the wagon you want to be tying your cart to.
Always. I mean, I could be Deja the same blue sky.
Oh no, I don't think you just ruined everything. Why you ruined my novel? You've ruined yourself. Everything's been ruined.
You've let yourself down.
You
You've
have.
let everybody else
But
down.
let's continue. So, written notes as per, going from the bottom of the top of episode. I don't know what episode this is, 9 maybe. Snatch Game episode. But yeah, we ate at the beginning, so I didn't write notes at the beginning. But so let's just try to talk about it from memory.
They did the bubble wrap.
Yeah, how do we feel about that?
It was pretty cool. I mean, I was quite impressed by how some of the queens did with like 20 minutes or whatever, right? Like Bosco looked really cool, sort of like Aquaria-esque.
Yeah.
Georges looked the same as when she won the runway challenge.
Very that, yeah.
I mean, I think it was like Willow was really quite fun on that as well. I just love watching like queens get to be silly in these sorts of mini challenges.
And a lot of the time, like in these mini challenges, their makeup surprised me in a positive way. I think like Ladies Camden, like I feel like if they do makeup similar to mini challenge, but like polished, it could look quite good. Like I liked what Lady Camden did do with her makeup. Her face looked completely different. I actually preferred it to her standard makeup.
Yeah.
There's a bit more like Willem-esque in the mini challenge, and same with there's one other queen, Jasmine, as well. Like I really like Jasmine's makeup in the mini challenge. So it's a fun mini challenge. It serves its purpose of just that, really.
Yeah.
So I think those people tell me notes about the workroom stuff leading up to Snatch Game. Oh, and actually, the only note I have is like Rue, because normally Rue asks people to do impressions of their characters, and Georges didn't do it, but Rue's like, oh, don't worry about it, it's fine.
Yeah, just the free passes for Georges are getting a little bit ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because like Georges is continuously just being dragged along on something. Like, don't get me wrong, she does do certain things like well, but like I think just like this episode, normally like Rue crucifies queens who are like, oh my god, I'm so nervous. Sorry, I can't do it. And Rue's like, well, you're gonna have to fucking make it work, make me laugh, make it fucking funny. And with Georges, it was just like, got any other choices? Okay, cool. We'll come back in a bit.
Yeah.
You want to do drag? Love you.
Exactly. Very
Do
you have any other thoughts on workroom stuff?
On all the walkthroughs, they were quite weird because I suppose we were being set up for it with this episode of like Deja talking about not having won.
Sorry, a bit low energy today.
Everyone else talking about like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna win or like I'm gonna do really well.
So sick of this conversation. Like every single episode is the same thing. It's different queens, same conversation, different queen.
Yeah. And so I think I was finding it a bit weird with the whole thing, and particularly Rue. I swear sometimes isn't there like someone who's a surprise? Like Rue will maybe talk. We'll only see like 4 or 5 walkthroughs.
Yeah.
And then like have a couple of who are surprises. Whereas with this, Rue's like, nope, we're going to go through every single one. And it's weird because on paper, I think a lot of these are really strong choices. Like Willow is Drew Barrymore and Bosco is Gwyneth Paltrow. I was so looking forward to because they're both such cerebral, clever, quick queens. And Drew Barrymore and Gwyneth Paltrow are kind of messes, but in a way that's really nuanced. I think, like, because you have to get the mannerisms of them down, and then you have to like push the joke really far. So like with Gwyneth Paltrow, you can't just be like jade egg in my pussy. Like you have to kind of.
Honestly, that would be really funny if like she just did that randomly.
But like you have to push that joke further, right? Because Gwyneth Paltrow is funny not only because of that, but because she's entirely believes in it. And like you push that further, and then have her coming up with like absurd things like, you know, this is made up of, you know, it's a macrobiotic puppy enema. You know, it has to be something like so far gone with that joke. Like take the joke to the next logical leap, which is not what I did there. That was not a great example. But like you have to just keep pushing it, right? Of like more absurd than Gwyneth Paltrow, which is hard.
Well, it's like one of the judges said, like, is, you know, it's not an acting challenge, it's a drag challenge. Like it's not about impersonating the best you can, it's about making them ridiculous.
Yeah.
Which a lot of them sort of didn't really do.
Which is why, like, as much as I was glad to see Tammy God, what's her surname? I just completely fucked.
Brown.
Tammy Brown, yeah. As surprising as it is to have good as it is to have Tammy Brown as a potential character, also Tammy is so. This is why it never really works when people try and do an impersonation of someone like. Actually, Cassia did Björk really well, but like if you've got someone who's a bit kooky, you need to like go there, and you need to stay in that world, because normally that person's funnier than what you're going to make them.
Exactly, and I feel like impersonating a comedian for that same reason is normally not a good shout.
Yeah.
But no, I agree. But the thing is, like, I didn't actually agree with the feedback she was given, though.
No,
because I can't remember what they said to her about maybe not pushing it far enough. But I think the issue was she just stuck with one thing, which was like spinning your head round and round or whatever.
Yeah.
That was literally her. That was like her whole one thing. It's very one note. It was just that the whole way through.
Yeah,
I think that was the issue.
Yeah, because I think even when Rue fed her a line, it was like, you know, something about walking children in nature. She just went, "Ah, yes, makes your head go round and round."
Exactly.
Like, okay, so now you're just painting like Tammy Brown as a drunk auntie, which she kind of is, but like go further, like make a new one, like start talking about Tootsie Lou, like get up and start singing a song. Like,
exactly, it's something. There's so many things you could do. Like I think that one of the judges said it, like she's got such a broad repertoire of like stuff you could do with her, and to just use the head round and round thing like for everything.
At least she was quite charming though, like because
you know
sometimes when people do the one note thing, like I was thinking about this the other day, but like Drag Race Holland season 2 with like slave to the rhythm.
I don't know if I've seen that yet.
The Grace Jones.
Oh yes, I have seen that. Yeah,
where she just keeps on saying slave to the rhythm and nothing else. And it's almost, it's not even so bad it's good. It's just so bad that it's kind of funny to watch in a really cringy kind of way. But yeah, I feel like at least she sort of mixed up. It wasn't that, but it wasn't. That's
what one of the judges said. She didn't have the mannerisms down. But I think she did. I think she had the mannerisms down. The issue was what you're saying, what I'm saying, right? Like, I think it was the wrong feedback for that. It's a shame because I think, it was, as you said before, and the judges said, like all these characters and the people impersonating them had so much potential. I think Andrea could have done great with Tammy Brown, and she had like hints of it. Like if she had just done more / it would have been really good. Like
to like pull out a ukulele, start singing a really stupid song. Like
she had the mannerism as well, and like the kookiness down well.
Yeah.
Like it could, and makeup and everything. Like it could have been good. It was so close to being good. But actually, let's talk about something broader. We will go through like the different queens. Maybe skip the ones which are boring. Completely don't have anything to say. But like, I want to talk about a bigger issue, which we mentioned when we were watching it, which is I don't know how much of it. I mean, it was a poor Snatch Game, I think, generally. Yeah. But I don't know how much it was like editing and like Rue and the judges' reactions to things, because there's some of the jokes were like, that's pretty funny, but like not even that's pretty funny. It makes it sound like they weren't funny. Like some of them were funny. I can't remember off the top of my head now specific examples. I think like Jasmine had a couple of funny ones.
Yeah, Willow had some good lines.
Yeah, Willow had a couple. Exactly. And like just Rue just wasn't laughing at anything any of the queens were saying.
And this comes to a wider issue, I think, which is something like the Lollapalooza. You don't just create it, right? Like that would be in a production schedule. It'll be, you know, they try and make the show always seem really organic, as if like the next episode's challenge is like come up in the last couple of days. Like they just sort of suddenly put it together. They planned it out, right? So the Lollapalooza.
So you think the reactions, like the lack of reactions from Rue, for example, was because they wanted to do this Lollapalooza episode?
I think so. I mean, even if it's just they shifted it around and it was going to be a later episode.
So that's what I think. I think it was planned at some point, but I think it's maybe like in the back pocket. Because
Yeah.
also, they don't have to do every single. Like, they might have plans for like every episode. They don't have to stick to them. They
That's
can have
true.
like different ideas, different episodes, and just whip them out at different times.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, I just had a thought.
go on.
Lollapalooza in All Stars was kind of a way of bringing someone back.
Yeah.
Right. They've only got 7 queens lip syncing in what would be an 8-person Lollapalooza.
Yeah. I think that is a good thought. Yeah.
Because that's the thing that kept on bugging me. Like, why bring a Lollapalooza when you've got 7 queens who are in the bottom?
I know, it makes no sense.
But anyway, that all of that said, I think there did sort of seem to be a thing with editing of just like, because Willow's first line wasn't even. Willow's first line I thought was quite funny, and then Rue was kind of like, "Oh, but we have met before." I'm like,
yeah. Also, that's what I have a note. Like, who do you know how they met? Do you know this show they were on together? Like, I mean, I feel like I've got very strong like knowledge of Rue's back catalogue of previous work, but I've got no idea what that is.
No,
like you can't expect them to know your shitty show, Drew Barrymore.
And it falls into a pit of something that I really get pissed off at with Drag Race, which is where like Rue's like, "You have no personality and your shit. That was shit. Why aren't you being more confident?"
Yes,
like with this, like literally the first thing Willow says, and maybe this is just because I love Willow so much, but like literally, like Willow has quite a good opening line. It's quite funny. It's a little bit reserved. It's not fully warmed up.
Oh, but also, my first time I went down, she was spot on. Like I've watched a few clips.
That little hand wave. I can't get the hand wave. It's sort of like really half-hearted.
Like I watched a few clips of Drew Barrymore because people I've liked have been on it, and like Drew is a wreck. I don't know much about her outside of her roles, but like she's a wreck. And like Willow had like everything perfect, like everything. So yeah, I feel like again, like exactly as you said, like if if the initial reaction had been better, she could have. Maybe that's all she needed to have done well.
And that's the thing, and you sometimes see it with queens, don't you? On this, like they say something not even that funny in their first line. Rue cackles,
yes,
and then they go on and do well because like
exactly.
They're literally from the beginning. Rue sort of set them up to be a bit like ooh, and like there's that expectation of like when I come to you, I know I'm going to laugh, right? And you're kind of predisposed to laugh. Whereas I think with like quite early on, it felt like Rue was sort of like shutting down, at least in terms of how it was edited.
Yeah,
was like shutting down quite a few queens. Like they'd say something, Rue would be like,
I agree. Yeah.
And you're like, that wasn't a bad line.
No, exactly.
And literally, like
the editing as well, just like put like the shift music out over it, or like the silence, and the reactions and stuff. Like it's so easy to make things look bad. And like actually, like if you just switch out like the editing of this and like show the reaction of one of them laughing, I think it would have been good. Like it was like these were strong jokes to me. It just the whole thing just felt weird.
Yeah. I think that's the thing. I think what sort of frustrated me with this is like they're kind of making it like you were all terrible. And like a lot of these would have been safe in some other,
or even quite good for some other Snatch games.
Like I don't think they would have been winning. Like don't get me wrong. Like I think
it would have been iconic.
I think like Willow's like wasn't like A grade, but I don't think it was bad like overall. And I think
I would say B grade. Genuinely,
I think it was decent
with different editing. B grade, easy.
I think the thing that as well that sort of really confused me with it was because some of them were sort of smacked down quite quickly. Like that killed the energy of this 100%. Whole thing. I think as a host, like Rue could have like coaxed out a bit more of this sort of jokes. I mean, admittedly there were some bones that were thrown that didn't get anything back. But that always happens.
Okay, I've got so much to say because that kind of pisses me off as well because like. I mean, it is all subjective, so which is annoying as well in terms of judging it. But like, for example, like Rue really laughed at Lady Camden's like one of her Shakespeare comebacks. There's like globes about like balls hanging low. So I'm like, I just didn't think that was at all funny. But like Rue really cackled at that. I'm like, okay, fine. Like obviously it's a different taste and subjective and that kind of stuff. But like, how can he laugh at that and then not laugh at like for example, we thought what was it? Jasmine's like Bible bit, red carpet Bible, or whatever. Like again, like good. Again, that would be good. Like you could just like it's just frustrating because if those two had been switched, which I would have actually that's how I would have reacted. Like it just would have been completely different. Yeah, and the kombucha joke from Bosco, I thought was clever. Yeah, me too. And then they kind of panned to people like to some of the other queens, being like, "Oh, it took me a little bit to get that joke." I'm like, what's there to get? Exactly. Kombucha is like a health. I like you explaining it. I know, but like it really pisses me off, right? Because I'm like, kombucha is like a health product that like lots of the kind of hippy dippy people who like love Gwyneth Paltrow talk. I mean, I love kombucha; it's great, but like a lot of the people who like really really love Gwyneth Paltrow's sort of side of health and wellness, if you can call it that, would sort of see kombucha as like a miracle drug.
And so like kombucha, like totally in fitting with her as a character, like with Gwyneth Paltrow, and then making it kombucha is like the perfect Gwyneth Paltrow-ism on it. In like taking something a bit icky or like taking something to do with genitals and putting it with it and being like a health product, boom. And also, that's basically a jade egg.
Exactly, and also in the feedback, like, you know, you just relying on like the products the whole way through. But again, like Queens have relied on far less than that. We just said it's the exact same about Lil Jon.
Lil Jon was just like the
whole way through. It's the same thing. It's like you can't say one's okay and the other one's not okay. Especially when you have one. Again, I thought Lil Jon was really amusing. I enjoyed the Snatch Game, but like I just don't feel it was fair to apply one feedback to one contestant and didn't feedback to the other, especially when Bosco's like approach it was a lot cleverer than when Deja's.
It was a clever go on it, and I thought, you know, again, it could have been a little bit better. But like Gwyneth Paltrow is a clever choice for someone like Bosco because Bosco is that kind of absurd, clever kind of humor.
She's that girl we knew.
And I was really, I mean, again, maybe it's because I'm biased because I love Bosco, but like, I genuinely didn't think it was that bad. I thought the bits where it was a bit like, I was like, okay, that wasn't a great answer. You know, saying that Willow had, you know, the ET phone home thing. She didn't like phone my home. Wasn't a great answer.
That's what I said. I said way better example than one I get. How could you like? I agree with you, but like, how can you not laugh at that, but then laugh at like the Shakespeare one about globes or whatever? It's the same. It's exactly the same thing.
Yeah,
it's exactly the same thing. You got like, it's just something that's like sounds like. Do you know what I mean? Like it's an innuendo, but it's not an innuendo. It's the same thing. It's just like, I see she wrote down a globe flower, so it's just not funny. She's like, I hope, you know, she can have a go on my globe, or hopefully both of them. It's just a bit like, it didn't really make sense. It didn't really like.
I mean, it's a Shakespeare reference. It's
but you should. It's not. My point is like she tried to make something that didn't fit as an innuendo sort of work as an innuendo, and like that's normally what Rue like laps up, and he laughed a lot at that. Yeah. But I'm like, that was in that instance, but then. Like, and that's something she had time to plan and write and everything. And then Willow did a similar sort of thing.
Yes.
And like, Rue gave her nothing.
I'm trying to think what would have been a really good answer for that, because that was what was really bugging me.
I know,
like,
I was thinking that.
What's a really good quick comeback? I mean, I say this like thinking about it afterwards, so I've obviously got way more time than Willow. But like E.T., what would be like a really good, like sexy R-rated version of like E.T. Phone Home?
E.T. now.
E.T. Bone Home?
Yeah, but how would you fit into the answer? Like, she's like, is it going to. Oh, okay, yeah, you could say.
What would you call it? E.T. Bone Home. I don't know why I went a bit Jennifer Coolidge there. Bone Home. Want a hot dog real bad.
That's quite a good impression.
Yeah. That's the first time I've ever tried that.
It's not, is it?
It genuinely is.
That's not. I think you put yourself as Jennifer Coolidge on the grinder.
Jennifer Cool Bitch.
That's a really good drag name. Well done. What was I going to say? So my main thing was a whole challenge, Joe. So let's get too far off conversation, because piggybacking off of what you were saying, it's like I used to go to a lot of like amateur comedy nights, and like the most important thing, you always get told by the MC beforehand, you know, basically on average half the acts were shit and half the acts were great, but you always get told by the MC beforehand, like, you know, this is an encouraging atmosphere, like it will be bad if you don't. Like, even if you don't find it funny, like it's really important that you're clapping, you're encouraging them, and like that's how you get the best out of these people.
Yeah.
And like that's the thing. And it's just kind of like that's my whole point. Like that's what they should be doing on Snatch Game as well, especially in the beginning. Like give them a chance.
Yeah, the opening lines, like give them a bit of a thing. Like if the second and third ones are a bit shit, you know,
give up at that point.
Yeah, but like, you know,
yeah. We also said like. After all the intros, like at that point, it felt super chaotic, and I was really stressed out.
It was so chaotic, and I think everyone was really stressed. Nobody could really work out how to make it like, because that's the thing. If your first joke bombs, not only have you lost confidence, but you're like, okay, so where do I hit it with the next one? Whereas like the first one, like if it kind of lands but isn't as good as it could be, you're like, right, dial it up. Like that worked, but make it funnier. And you've got somewhere to go. And I think that was the thing. Rue, I feel like, shut all avenues to everybody, apart from to Deja. It was like, just keep saying yeah, and you're fine. But like, it really bugs me, because I think so much of this could be different, because of course the energy is going to be low. If 8 people have gone and 2 people have had laughs, like, of course that's not going to work.
No.
Like, so, you know, overall, it is frustrating, right? Because it's a good cast, and I think most people chose really good characters for them.
Yeah.
Like Betsy DeVos, I think actually is a brilliant one for Jasmine if she played to her strengths with it. And I think Jasmine was one of the ones who like slightly missed the assignment a bit more maybe than others. I think
I still could say the same thing though. Like if she's given more in return, maybe.
yeah.
Again, we did find some of her stuff quite funny, so like
It's true.
it's hard to say.
Because I think she started off well. Like she had a kind of slightly unhinged voice for it.
Yeah.
I think was it Michelle said like, you know, she was sort of trying to focus too much on showing that she knows school stuff. I'm like, yeah, that's right. She didn't need to do it. Like, just play Betsy DeVos as a slightly like unhinged woman who just like who just says stupid shit. Like that would work.
Yeah.
Of her just trying to like, or like basically like a proto-fascist, like trying to shut down everything. Do that for everything. Like she starts stealing people's answers. She starts like, you know, because I thought that pre-prepared joke she had about the like, oh, my team haven't prepared me for this joke. That's great. I thought that was really quite funny.
I mean, again, she got literally nothing apart from like weird, like uncomfortable editing.
Yeah, because that's actually like that is the Voss-ism, right? Of like, my team hasn't prepared. I mean, she did need to push the joke further. Like, she needed to basically say, I say this like I'm some kind of comedy king, but like, she needed to push that joke further, right? It's kind of like, my team hasn't prepared me for this, so I'm gonna say, and then say something really funny. Like she needed that like next little like punch.
Yeah, I agree
to the joke. But like overall, that was like a good start to that joke.
I agree.
And
I like adjustment to something out of left field as well. Like you would expect her to do that character.
Yeah. You'd expect her to basically just be like, "Oh, mother, mama," like kind of character.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then I'm glad she didn't. I'm glad she really went out there. Yeah. Who was diabetic? Diabetic was Ozzy Osbourne.
Very, very bad. I think she's one of the worst. I would put her in the bottom.
It was kind of Ozzy Osbourne as oh god, what's his name? Oh, he ran as Bernie Sanders. It felt like
yeah.
It was very like it was kind of bizarre. I think Carson Kressley was right. Like it needed to be more chaotic.
Yeah,
and like more sort of like basically like a grumpy, chaotic thing and like crashing out.
Also, yeah, I've watched like every episode of Osbourne when I was younger. And I think there's so much you can do. Like everything happened, there's so much you can do that character. But also, like this is the opposite of what we say. Like what frustrated me about Daya and her choice was kind of what we just say about Jasmine is that she won't be obvious. Like you know, where she went with what you'd expect Daya to do, and she didn't do it well. Like I was kind of frustrated by that. Does that make sense?
3 of them playing men.
Who's the third one? So Lil Jon,
Shakespeare, Lil Jon, and Ozzy, and Tammy Brown, technically.
Ah, you're coming for her.
For Timmy Brown.
For her Luke. Oh my god, it's great.
But yeah, it's interesting, right? Like I don't know. Ozzy's an interesting choice. I'm glad that Di went out of the box in terms of character choice in some ways. Like
that's what I mean. But she like exactly. She's like, I'm punk rock. Like I'm gonna do like
that's true.
I'm gonna do a man. I'm gonna do Ozzy Osbourne. Like this is like I'm gonna like. It feels like it's like she's trying like she's like a wannabe Dracula queen. Like it's very much J.J. Lee. She's giving J.J. Lee vibes.
How dare you say that?
That's not it. As a point, I was gonna say Chris's message says he's watching it. He said, "I want to die watching this." That's so I replied saying, "Just wait for Doja's runway outfit." It saves the episode. Yeah,
it makes me so angry.
I know. We're going to that in a minute. First of all, anything else you want to say about the Snatch Game?
Are there any queens we've forgotten?
I don't think so. Apart from Dove Cameron, I was really excited to see Dove Cameron.
Oh, she was great.
I really like Dove Cameron's music.
I'd never come across her before, but I really like her based on this episode.
Yeah, really cool.
Like, really clever feedback as a judge. Like, just got it.
100%, I agree.
Like, it was really kind to the queens, but also really, like, constructive.
Yeah, totally agree. I thought she was really great.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think if we've missed anyone. Bosco?
The thing is, Rue's like, Dove's the winner because she gets to go home, and like next camera shot, she's sat on the main stage, having to look at those shitty outfits.
Jesus. Oh, we didn't really talk enough about Georges, but like, I just want to say like what really pissed me off is like she was very on-off as a character. Do you know when you watch Snatch Game and you've got people who are like just living as that character for 20 minutes?
Nigeria's good.
You could literally see her kind of like do like a little wave thing and then like stop and then be like, it's kind of like watching a sim where you told them like when you stack multiple actions.
Yeah.
And so they sort of like, they do a little dance and they stop.
You were playing Sims recently?
No, but I realize I've been referencing a lot today.
Sims so much.
I'm really in Sims mode.
I know you are.
Mentally, I'm very Florilla. I think,
yeah, I see that for you.
Very well.
I feel like that must kind of feel like general vibe though.
Yeah, I am basically a sim.
You are basically a sim.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Hashtag Rosebud.
What? Is that a family name? Listen.
No, that's the cheat code you enter to get money.
Oh,
But also,
I don't remember
gay
that.
fun.
Hmm?
You know.
Mm,
If you know, you know.
I don't know.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll show you later.
Love this stream.
Okay.
Should anything else to go through about Snatch Game myself? Should we move on to runways? I don't think it's even necessarily go for every single queen. Like, there's not necessarily tons to say about some of them.
For the looks.
No. For Snatch Game,
Sorry.
I don't think it's important to go for every single queen in detail. Because I think for me it was more about like the general atmosphere of Snatch Game, which is that I agree. I think like performances were subpar generally, but I think it was exacerbated heavily by the reactions at the time and the editing as well. I think editing did skew it unfairly. Personally. And I agree with you. Maybe it's because they knew they had this episode in the wings, and this would be a good point. But they're waiting for all the queens to do a bit poorly, and they're like, okay, we can jump on this. And
right, because there've been a couple of episodes in a row where they've been really good as a whole, as a cast generally. Yeah, it was just a bit of a. I think it was like I don't think it was ever going to be up there with the best Snatch Games ever, but I think it was killed before it had a bit of a chance to be decent.
Exactly.
And that's really frustrating. I think as a viewer, if nothing else, because you're like, well, actually, this could have been more fun to watch.
Exactly.
There's no reason why it had to be that awkward.
Yeah, I totally agree. So should we move on to? Well, actually, there's one thing I want to say pre-runway.
Okay.
Which we always had like an emotional chat about like a dead relative.
Yeah.
I respect the emotional chat. This episode was about Willow's relationship with Fungus. Like it went on for ages. Like again, like sweet fun. Like she's a quirky girl. Yeah. But like it was like a 5-minute bit about like Willow getting emotional about Fungus. And like it is endearing and cute, but it's a bit like this is like we need something per episode to have like an emotional moment. And like it was a bit much. I felt
it was a bit, but I just loved watching her nerd out about it.
Yeah,
it was great. Like it was, especially as some like there's a book. I was telling you about this, right? And think, but like there's a book I read last year that was one of my favorite books of the year, which is just about fungus, and it was like I was living my best life. It was great. It was really fascinating.
You ever seen Mishishi? Have you?
No.
It's a really good.
I don't know why that just sounds like a drag term.
Mishishi. It's a Jap term.
She is serving mishishi
tonight. It's about like a spirit. It's really good. If you I might say it an episode a while back. But there's a really good episode about a bamboo forest, and they talk about like with the bamboo being connected with the roots and the fungus of the forest and stuff. And like
this does sound like that kind of thing.
And yes, they're all connected. It's like a ghost thing. It's like a ghost bamboo thing. That's like it's really cool.
Come through House of Mishishi.
Yeah, genuinely. Cool. So going to runways.
Yes.
Oh, actually, before we start with Willow, because it's going off exactly what we were just talking about, which is a big build up. Hey, Rex. A big build up to also is the quality okay? Because we keep getting weird like low Wi-Fi things, so hopefully the quality's alright. You thought Lady Cameron did alright? That's interesting. Because I disagree.
I think she was all. I think she's okay.
I think it's worse as a Brit though, because like
it's
more awkward. Like I was watching it as an American, I'm like, okay, she's got a funny accent, exactly.
Funny British person,
exactly.
Whereas I think actually, had she just gone with Joanna Lumley,
she basically was doing Joanna Lumley.
Yeah, but if she actually just like stuck to it a bit, I actually think she'd have won.
Yeah,
this week.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, I agree.
Because I think it would have been enough to like. It would have been funnier, or at least as funny as Deja, but cleverer, and her. Actually, her runway wouldn't have won her.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know because she didn't perform well generally in this challenge, so it's hard to say that she would have looked out of the park.
But I think Joanna Lumley gives you a bit more grounds to be a bit more like, no, darling, shut the fuck up.
Exactly. Yeah. But would she have done that though? That's what I mean.
Maybe,
she seemed a bit reserved.
I mean, I would be terrible on Snatch Game, so I don't know why I'm saying all this as if I'd be great.
Don't put yourself down. I think you'd win it.
It depends on. Thank you. It depends. I genuinely, I've agonised that so much because I can never think about who I'd actually play.
I know you do. Jane Jacquet.
All that personality.
Exactly.
I can do the little dance.
Anyway, so I was just going to say, like going off what we were just saying, I also want to shut that down immediately. No.
A little dance.
What was I saying? Oh yeah, okay. But no. So like the amount of build up we had for Willow's mushroom outfit, I was expecting a lot, and so like I was quite disappointed by that because we literally had 5 minutes build up. I think if we hadn't had the 5 minute build up, I would have liked it more. I'd have been like, oh wow, cool, this is really cool. Like, this is mushroom, but she's like, she's like, we went for love mushrooms for 5 minutes. She's like, this is the outfit I'm most excited about. It's the most clever thing I've ever done in my life. All this kind of stuff. And then she comes out and like,
I
compared
kind
to,
of wanted it to be a bit bigger.
I think I agree. Like compared to her other outfits, like I mean, it's good. I really like it, but like again, like if it caught me by surprise, I would like it a lot more. But like again, compared like with the build up and compared to other, like sorry, because her outfit's been so epic, and this outfit had a load of build up. Like, oh my god, it's gonna be the best one outfit ever! I'm so excited for this. And then it came out, like, oh okay,
yeah.
Okay.
Do you also think? Sorry, I keep thinking with her Drew Barrymore. Apart from like she had the mannerisms down, but I wonder if oh god, what's her name from SNL who does the really good Drew Barrymore?
I don't know.
Oh, I love her, and I can't think of her name now. Kristen Wiig.
Yeah.
Because she does like a properly unhinged Drew. Who's like, I won't try and do the accent, but it's like, guys, this is so cool, blah blah blah, and we'll like do this like totally like wacko kind of like thing that's really fun. And I think that was kind of what was missing from like Willow was really small, and I think like
but Drew kind of is.
She is. She's not like huge as a.
But like I think you could have gone the other way with it, and like I don't know. I felt like she was close to getting it right.
Yeah.
And I think she maybe again if she had the right encouragement and feedback initially, she could have got there with it. Because like she's just so like odd. Like I think we saw a clip from before, so I knew she was gonna say it, but like the 660 was like some people at 7 o'clock. Well, like it's just shit like that. Like if she'd like, you know, like the whole sort of like half out of it, like half sort of like on what's like Xanax. That's a kind of vibe I get from Drew. Is like Xanax style kind of thing.
Because the clip that she has on her YouTube channel of her doing Drew is really funny.
Oh, I should see that.
She does a 660 joke on that as well.
Okay, so that's my point perfectly then. Like,
yeah,
it could have been really good if I don't think that's the way she performed it.
Because she plays it as this like slightly self-important kind of woman who's almost like she just discovered things for the first time, but is doing really mediocre things.
Yes, exactly.
So I think she's making a cup of tea in this video, and like Willow manages to make this whole thing out of it that's really funny.
Yeah.
Because it's so delusional.
Yes.
And that's kind of how I see it.
Yes. Yeah. It's just
sort of like, I want to talk to you guys today about something really important. Racism is bad.
Exactly.
It's very bad. Yeah.
I can't remember who I watched. Like one of an artist I like was on her show recently, and she just said something about like, oh, what star? Like out of nowhere, she's like, what star sign are you? And then she's like, oh, Scorpio. And she's like, oh yeah, I see that for you. You're Scorpio. It's just a bit like, she seems so out of it. It's a bit like you're just not connected with reality at all. Like it's just so weird.
Child star.
Yeah, she was.
I feel like that does do it.
Yeah. I know she's got very much gone the way of like typical child star, like just not connected with reality at all. Anyway, let's go through the outfits. So I'll let you take the first one.
Is it Deja?
It's Deja.
This is so fucking bad. Literally, Queens have done worse than this. Sorry, Queens have done better than this on makeover challenges and been crucified.
Yeah.
This was something she had with her. She didn't make it.
As a seamstress.
She did not make it for this challenge. She came with something that was like not fitted properly. Like it was just like after the bit of belt fairly high up, it was just some like draped fabric. You had the shoulder pieces, and I get, okay, cool, they're not meant to fully connect because they're meant to be a bit like chainmail, or not chainmail, but like armor.
Yeah.
But then no, and then the hair didn't really match it.
It's horrible.
Because like separately, I think I could have liked the hair.
No.
I grew on it.
No, it wasn't big enough.
No, I mean, it definitely wasn't big enough.
But
like
shiny, it just wasn't right.
And then like that didn't work with her makeup.
It didn't clash.
Because the makeup wasn't like, didn't have any silvery hues or anything to it. It was. This
is like what I was thinking is like, you know, when we say with Queen's looks, if they go a bit wrong, it's not be like, okay, great concept, poor execution, or like great execution but poor concept. Deja's just always bad with both, apart from the shoulder pad wig, which I think was last week. She's been bad at everything. Like it was a bad concept and terrible execution.
Yeah.
It's a bit like there's no redeeming quality.
Every time it panned to her, I was like, this is wrong. Like it's a really weirdly like, it's a slightly sparkly fabric that looks a bit cheap. And then it's got like a duller grey fabric next to it. So it doesn't even work with these, because all the greys are a bit wrong with each other. Like they're either a bit too sparkly to be kind of chainmail, or like not sparkly enough. Like it doesn't fit.
Her makeup is just horrific.
It was not good. It was not fitted. It was not fitted properly. It was a mess. And literally, Queens have gone home wearing better than that.
I'll take Lala Reed's bag look over that any day.
Actually, genuinely.
Genuinely, like it wasn't like hurtful to look at. That look, like it was more funny. But, like
I
the
genuinely
Asians,
wanted
like,
it to be blurred. Every
like
time
I
it
know
came
we were
on screen.
angry every single time it came on screen. We were literally angry. You could hear now we're angry about it. But I think what makes me the most angry is that, like
No comment.
no comment. Every single week, her outfits are horrific. Apart from that one week, and every single like she must. Surely she's not delusional. She must watch it back and be like, okay, I can see that wasn't great. But like, but what are they seeing? Like, she looks terrible.
Makes me so angry.
Unless it's like someone's like gone through CGI style, like re-edited every single clip she's in her outfits to make them look bad, and actually on the stage they look great, which obviously isn't the case. Like, like how I just don't understand. I really don't understand how no one said anything about any of it at any point.
Do you know when like Jocelyn Fox did I think it was the wedding episode?
Yes.
That's what it kept on reminding me of. But like, and
Jocelyn's was better.
And Jocelyn's was better.
Yes.
But like, and that was like, she was sent home.
Yes, exactly. My God.
Legit.
Oh
my God, it makes me so angry. Especially because maybe it's because they were, going to say that she was the winner. That they can't fully go in and be like.
I honestly thought because of that outfit she might not win.
Yeah.
I honestly thought like. Oh yeah, I honestly thought like.
Would you remember they stopped Alexis Michelle from winning an episode because they were like, you just bought it off the rack and worn it, and they told her like, you would have won this episode, but you didn't because of that dress.
Yeah.
Genuinely.
Exactly. They didn't say one negative thing.
Ladies and gentlemen, Deja Sky.
Exactly. Like, very that. Okay, and he's got off too angry. The next one's actually going to be fun to talk about though. Jasmine.
I thought it was quite cute.
I absolutely loved it.
I thought it was
every
really
aspect
cute.
of it.
I actually didn't think she needed the reveal.
Oh, I agree. She didn't need it, but I was happy with it. It was a nice, it was a good reveal.
Yeah.
But I felt like the head was like 10 out of 10. I loved it. I thought the makeup was stunning. The headpiece, the hair, like it was beautiful. I thought the look was really good as well. It's just like a different queen. Like, where was this Jasmine over like from the last couple of weeks from the beginning of the show?
And that's the kind of energy I've been kind of wanting from Jasmine, right? That kind of to kind of do, she does she do pageants? I'm sure she does.
She seems like she does.
Like, because that felt like a kind of proper like queen, like graceful, because she's so hyper. Yeah, you kind of want that slow, controlled, like sexy.
That's why I like Vanjie so much. Vanjie's runway so much because it's such a juxtaposition to her personality.
Yeah,
and same with Jasmine. Like, I just think I just thought it was stunning. Like take Jasmine out of the equation. I just thought objectively, like for me, obviously it's a subjective story, but like I just loved it. I thought it was a beautiful,
really, really good.
Which is amazing. I'm really excited. Like I've gone from like wanting to skip her runways. Every time she comes out, I'm like, ugh, like, can we just skip Jasmine? So like now next week, I'm like, wow, like what's she gonna wear?
Which is crazy because she brought that with her. So like she brought all these shit things with her.
Yeah.
She also brought some like really good stuff.
Well, I guess it kind of ties in with like her not knowing like how much to speak because like her taste levels are kind of like all over the place, right? Like sometimes she gets it spot on with like challenges and like what's her personality and portraying her personality in terms of a TV show. Yeah, and sometimes she really misses the mark. And like she said this episode, she used to ask other queens like how she's got no idea. I think it's the same thing with her outfits, where it's like like sometimes she's got no set taste and she's like all over the shop. Sometimes she hits, sometimes she misses.
And I think what was quite good actually on this, I will say, but probably where she has grown as a queen is I think maybe if she'd won this week 1 or 2, she would have like completely over accessorized it. Whereas actually she kept it quite simple.
Yes,
like it had a bit of like, because it had some like chains or whatever built in to bits of it anyway. And she obviously had that headpiece. But I think I like that she kept it really simple and graceful.
Agreed.
Yeah. Really good work. I was going to say good week for her. Not for Snatch Game necessarily. Well, I still don't think she was bad.
She's fine. Yeah, exactly. I really did. Okay, I'm curious to hear about Jury's runway.
And Jury's runway. It was a bit simple.
That's what I thought.
She sold the hell out of it, but like, it was like as playing a character of like a Southern black woman in church. Nailed it from what I understand and what she and Rue seem to take from it.
From Your Second Life.
Yeah.
As soon as the street mentioned she would have had a boot polish and run straight to closest church.
You know me so well.
Exactly.
That's me. But yeah, but actually, like if you were to just take it just as the costume as what she's wearing, fairly basic. But like I like that she sold the hell out of it. Like it was a performance.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, it wasn't.
I agree. I would just say, just in case you're saying that though, like my concern about Jury, she was a front runner for all of us at the beginning of the season. I really feel like she's kind of fading into the background for me now.
She is a little. The last couple of weeks. Yeah.
Right? Shame.
I hope she comes back.
Yeah, me too. So I want to start off the next queen, if that's all right. So Daya, And like the thing I want to say is, for me, the runway was exactly the same as a challenge, which really frustrated me. It's exactly what you expect her to do. It's like the most basic, it's like super basic, but her version of basic is like her punking up a holy thing. And it's just like,
it's like it's the first step, right?
Yeah,
it's kind of
exactly.
like it's sort of drag. Well, it's like a concept that you might have for like when you're 16.
Yes.
Of like, ooh, I'm so edgy. I'm getting like
very MySpace scene girl.
Yeah. It's sort of like it's so edgy, like the church and like holy and like a wedding dress sort of thing. But get this, a bit punk rock.
Exactly. Oh, sorry, what?
And I'm going to wear some black.
Wait, what?
I know, because like white and black are like contrasting colours. So it's like a contrast.
That seems like a revolution to me.
Yeah. And that's not really noisy because I'm like,
I'll tell you what, have some crosses on there.
Oh my god, yeah.
Golden.
But like some of the crosses can be upside down. Like
that's not right.
Countercultural.
That's not right. That's not right.
But I think that's what really frustrated me was like it was so basic, and I thought it was going to be a reveal because we had these like black tights, and then it's not a reveal. So I'm like, oh, so you just chose to put those black tights for them that don't work.
Yeah, I agree.
And it annoyed me because I'm sure she can do better, but like
we've seen her she do a lot better.
Yeah, but then it does annoy me that like every week feels like her being like, I'm punk rock.
Exactly.
And you're like, okay, but
there's so much
being punk rock is not telling everybody. Yes,
exactly.
Should have killed this.
There's some people, it's just like charity case, you don't like, if you're punk rock, you don't need to like spend your entire existence trying to like make everything a bit punk rock for lols. Like
it's so try hard.
It is really it's very try hard.
It's like I was grungier when I was 16 and going to Camden.
I thought you were still in that phase.
Ladies and gentlemen, the receipts. No, but I think it was just really it was very basic tiara.
You got something there.
Yes, I love it so much. Nobody laughs at it ever, but I enjoy it so much.
Who else does? She's laughed at it once. It's literally set you up for life.
So that's the encouragement that we're talking about.
Genuinely, actually, yeah.
But I think Daya, it's getting a bit predictable. Like, because that one week when Daya came out in that really sleek outfit with the hair and everything,
yeah,
I thought that was really cool.
Yeah,
because it kind of said punk rock without having to.
Or even like the fairy thing. I didn't like. It wasn't my taste 100%, but like that was quite punk. Like, it was like, yeah.
And hello, Chris.
Oh, yeah, yo. It's Chris. We mentioned your comment earlier when you were watching it.
It's finished. Oh, make sure you tidy up.
Tidy up.
Little tissue.
Yeah, don't say clean up, right? Like tidy up.
That's true. Tidy up's like put the clothes away in the closet. Yeah.
Exactly. I haven't seen your reply yet. But did you agree about my comment about Deja's outfits over the episode at least?
But yeah, so I just think anyway, I feel like Daya is getting herself into a real like, what's the word? Like she's stuck, and it's annoying because I'm sure she can do so much more with this kind of cool, edgy aesthetic. But I feel like she's just repeating the same points, and I feel like I've seen every single one of these bits before, and that's harder. Yes. Like the later you go into a season, in like the more seasons you have, right? It's more likely that something you like will have been done before. But I just feel like
But you didn't like it.
I didn't like it.
Exactly. Also, like, no near as egregious as Deja, but same issue where, like, not good concept and not good execution. As you said, like, you point out some of the issues you had with it. Like, I thought it was very, very, like, poorly fitted as well. Like one of you said, the length of it was wrong. Like, it's just, like, it just didn't look good. Yeah. And it was a poor concept. And I think, like, try hard is the best way to sum her up. Generally.
I did feel bad for her falling over, though.
I really laughed. No, I didn't. I thought because of Lady Cam, I assumed it'd be a reveal, and because of what she was wearing when that happened. So yeah, actually, I was more angry at her falling over because she just got back up again.
Oh, she did style it out quite well.
Yeah, she did. Yeah. That's something I don't like. I'm not just saying this to try and cover my own ass. I do actually quite like her still. Like, I think she is quite endearing somehow. Like.
Yeah,
I just want more from her. Like,
I think that's it. I think maybe we're so angry because we know she can do more.
I genuinely think that is the case. I don't.
With Georgia, I've like given
up. 100%. or Deja. Exactly. That's what I mean. But like Daya, I'm like, I do like her. I've got a soft spot for her.
Yeah.
I'd like to see come back at All Stars, like Scarlet Envy kind of.
Yeah.
Where it's like she's just more
probably realised.
Like, not try hard. Like, remove the try hardiness. She could be great. I think she's
really cool.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to see her doing like a proper like cyberpunk. kind of look, or like this feels like a bit of a left field reference because I'm a cookie girl, but I feel like, do you know in Time Splitters 2?
Yes.
Do you know like that whole Japan level,
Don't
the
remember.
future Japan level? You follow that woman.
Ringing a bell about. Have you played it recently?
Not for
Came out literally
not
20
for
years ago.
but it's literally one of like it's a foundational part of my personality.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah.
And but like that kind of future techno Japan cyberpunky kind of thing is really cool. And I really want to see her go for that kind of Japanese cyberpunk feel. I think she could do it so well. I think she could have like this really super cool like slutty teenage robot futuristic girl look. I think that she could be so cool at that.
Yeah.
But it just always stops one level before.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a decent thing you said.
Thank you.
It's all right. Georges. See, I don't think it
was pretty. It was just basic.
Is it? I don't think it's basic. I think it's basic in terms of Georges because like you just actually it's not in basic in terms of Georges. Is it? I don't think the issue is over basic. It's more of it's expected.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, yeah.
I don't think it was basic because like actually it was like a well fitted, well constructed.
It was well. I think maybe the concept. I think is the concept I found a bit basic of like.
But compared to some of the others, I actually thought it was one of the better concepts for Holy.
That's
I don't think
true.
it was great, but like it's more out there. Like it's actually way more punk than Diet.
I really liked her hair as well. I think that was
like,
really cool.
Yeah, going as a Pope with a spliff, like it is again a bit like 16-year-old, but it's still more punk than Diet.
Oh yeah.
Right.
I think she was kind of dressed as weed.
Yeah,
and it wasn't just like I've got a spliff.
I think it was my favorite outfit she's worn yet. I really
I
liked it. Again, but Georges' style aesthetic isn't really for me. But that's the tiara. Really, that's why I laugh. It really isn't for me. But no, but yeah, but I liked it. I think it was well executed. I think it had some cool concept, like some cool parts of the concept, like the hair, for example. And I thought the dress was cool. Again, I think especially comparatively, I think the runway was great this week. It's such a good prompt.
It wasn't a great runway.
Oh, actually, that's a really good point you had there. I wrote down.
The prompt, yeah.
Yeah. Do you wanna...
Yeah, so I get the feeling that because sometimes with some of the runways, queens have said afterwards, like, "Oh yeah, we were told this thing," and then the prompt on the day was like slightly different, right? Like when with the Spice Girls one, it was like inspired by the Spice Girls, and then like for in Drag Race UK, and then on the day they were like, "No, you need to actually look like one," which is why they absolutely attacked Charity Case for not looking like Mel B.
That's a decent example. A better one. So it's just like I think one of them was like there's like a diamond one or something like that, like a sparkly. I was saying about sparkles, but like they changed it from like rhinestone to like from sparkles to rhinestones, and like someone didn't wear rhinestones, and like it was supposed to.
Yeah,
it was something like that. It's not the exact thing, but like I've heard this shit like that where like if you just change a few words, it can actually change the prompt quite dramatically.
Yeah, whereas and I kind of got that feeling for this one because Queens, like the way they were talking about their outfits. Like, because if it would have been Holy, which is what they sort of spoke about, like a few of them hit that brief in a kind of typical way of like Angeria,
Georges,
Holy
or Pope.
But wasn't she just coming as weed?
No, she was Pope.
I think I missed the Pope bit of that.
She had like the Pope hat and like.
Oh yeah, so she did. Okay. I take back some of what I said about Georges. Actually, I probably missed.
That's why I say it's more punk than Diet because like she came as like the Pope with a spliff kind of thing.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
okay, I'll give that to her. And then somebody else, and Diet as whatever that was. And so that kind of fit. And then even you could argue Deja, because sort of what's her name?
Zendaya.
Thinking of Joan of Arc.
Oh, okay.
It was a holy crusade, yada yada. So I could kind of get those ones as holy, but then a few of the other ones, I'm like, if did Willow interpret holy as in like having holes in? Was that like
no? She would have said that.
But like
she said, I worship mushrooms.
Yeah, because then somebody else said worship, and I kept noticing people saying worship, and I was like, worship and holy are close,
but not right. Exactly like Jasmine. You can't say zodiacs. Not zodiac. Was it zodiac?
Astrology, yeah.
Astrology is holy. Astrology is not holy.
Yeah, and I thought the same for because the thing that really made me think about it was Lady Camden. Yeah,
which we'll go into in a second.
Because I thought like you wouldn't have the Spice Girls as holy, but you would worship them.
Exactly.
And so that's kind of why I was like, and she kept me like, I really worship the Spice Girls, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, interesting. So that's kind of my tinfoil hat theory.
No, I agree. I
on
think
this
I
episode.
would not be at all surprised if that's the case. So you talk about Lady Gamo's outfit?
Yeah, it was a bit basic.
I think that's the main issue with Q's cropping up with all of the Queen, like most of Queen's runway. It's just expected. Like it's exactly
Really
what you expect her to do. Like I feel like we've seen this like 5 times from her already.
It didn't even scream Spice Girls
No.
to me.
No, she's like a crystallized like sucker dummy thing, which is weird.
Yeah,
Everyone has like lollipop sucker.
is that meant to be like Baby Spice?
Yeah, exactly.
And
I mean,
and she had the train, which was Jerry Halliwell's like Union Jack, and then she was kind of dressed as Mel B,
it's just a bit much, and like,
but
just,
like purple.
I don't know. I think it's bad.
I think
That's actually my next note for Bosco as well. It's just like expected.
yeah,
Exactly.
At least it was pretty, but like
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm
And
saying
then-
actually, basically, Top Boss is one of my ones I liked more of this runway. But
yeah,
I just like my favorite things of runways is to be caught off guard.
yeah,
But like, it's literally, if you said like Bosco's gonna do a holy runway, what's she gonna do? I would say bondage, none.
yeah, 100%.
Right? It's just
Yeah, it was going to be like
Gotcha.
some kind of thing of her like being a nun and making it sexy,
Yeah.
or like having a crucifix and making it sexy. Like it was always going to be that, and she still looked great. I still really loved it for her, but like I didn't think it was as clever and as conceptual as I think she could have gone. I would have really loved to have seen. I don't know.
That's something I expect more from her.
What would she have done that had been really fun and clever? What would have been like a really?
You're putting too much pressure on yourself this stream. You're like,
I really am.
You're not. Yeah, I don't know. Like Bosco thinks quite out of the box generally, right? So like, I think it'd be difficult to try and like think of what she might do.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe some sort of BDSM thing, like, but not link it to no. I don't know. I just thought it was. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was just a bit like, ugh. It was. I mean, it's good. It was well executed, but conceptually, I'd say expected / boring.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So should we move on?
Yeah. I also just feel like generally, can we retire that as a thing? Like, ooh, sexy nun. I'm like, great. I think we've done that
Yeah,
concept
I fully agree.
forevermore.
Okay, so I guess the thing to talk about now is a lip sync. So first of all, I mean, my first note is just like fair decision. Like, I don't think, from my perspective, again, maybe it's the editing or whatever, but like, I don't know who I'd choose for bottom 2. I mean, I probably could at push choose a bottom 2.
It's hard, right?
But like, I'm not like, a lot of episodes are like, okay, these two are blatantly in the bottom, like,
Yeah.
or like these 2 or 3 were, could easily be in the bottom. This episode, I'm kind of like, well, if anyone was in the bottom, I wouldn't be mad. So
Yeah.
I think it's a fair decision. Like,
I
don't
don't think
picking to choose
Yeah,
who was better than another one, really.
I agree. Yeah, because I can't pinpoint it. Even if I wanted to be like sort of play favorites, my 2 favorites, I couldn't. Bosco and Willow. I can't make that argument.
No.
And even based on just runway, like, because that's the thing, Lady Camden, I could see how there's a potential argument for her being a little bit more entertaining than some of the others.
I don't really.
I don't
she was
feel it.
She was actually one of my least. I say she's maybe my least favorite.
She's kind of went into the background for me, but even if you did think that, her runway would bring her down straight away.
Yeah.
So I don't think there was anyone who of the other 7. I think Tasia should have just.
I was gonna say, I think like if Deja had just skipped the runway this week completely, I think give it a win absolutely. But I feel like her runway was so horrific
So
that
bad.
like it should have put her in the lip syncing thing next week.
Yeah.
It should have put her on the same level as the other queens, personally.
I agree, and I think it's irritating, right? Because I think Georgia's was probably one of the worst in Snatch Game in terms of just like missing the mark. Like, never really did anything that was that funny.
His characterization was actually one of the better.
Yeah.
The good characterization.
And then her runway, I think, was good enough to.
That's what I'm saying. Like we could go through it. We could probably pick a bottom 2, but like,
Yeah.
exactly. Like it's not like
Why?
Exactly
For
why.
what?
For you're afraid of
Seriously.
that. So like, there are other things we've got about this, and so another 4 episode lip syncs. We excited for next week.
Woo.
Afraid of that.
But I'm convinced that they're going to try and have someone come back now.
That's about to be fun. They need to do something to make the episode interesting because they know they keep getting bad
June
feedback.
Jambalaya.
They keep getting bad feedback from the lip sync episodes. Like the producers must know by this point that it's not what people want to see.
No, because I think that's the thing. All of the lip syncs in a lip sync episode have to deliver. They have to deliver differently because otherwise you've got like 4 upbeat or 5 or whatever upbeat lip syncs in a row, which is kind of exhausting. Like, because the whole thing that makes lip syncs really good in the episode,
It's
right?
like the tension that like
the point of tension at the end.
Yeah.
And like they can be a real thing of like that's the end thing. That's the final point of the episode. Like you end on a high.
Yeah.
If the lip sync's decent.
Yeah.
Or if the decision's decent. And and like that's come after like a week, like a whole episode of
It's like a conclusion,
like
isn't it?
something else happening.
Yeah.
Like they're acting or doing whatever. So I think just an episode of just lip syncs, I always find quite tiring because you get to the third or fourth and you're like, oh,
is it the same? But they're saying the fans have always said that. So I'm hoping, like I said, bring someone back and do something really interesting to make it exciting.
Yeah.
Because like I was saying before we watched the episode, I'm really enjoying this season. I'll be looking forward to every week. But if it's just lip syncing episode next week, I'm like a lot less keen.
What if June Jambalaya comes back and does a silky and like wins every single lip sync?
I mean, it'd make it more interesting to be fair.
The stakes are higher for her.
Exactly. So like another thing I want to talk about in relation to this, we talked about some of the other aspects of it earlier, so let's go back into those again about being pre-planned and things. But like another thing, obviously, is that no queens went home again, and yet another episode. So what I was kind of thinking is like, obviously they're contractually obligated to have a set number of episodes, right? And that's why part of the reason they literally have to keep some queens or bring queens back or whatever. But it's been already, I think, about 5 episodes where either queens haven't gone home or have come back, maybe more than 5. I'm just at this point, you could have had 5 extra queens in. Like, why not? If you want to have X number of episodes in the season, then why stick it at 14 queens? Why not bring another couple of queens in?
Yeah, I agree. Because how many have there been without
the first 2 episodes?
Because first 2 technically someone went home, but then they came back.
There's been 2 others. There's been a joint save last week, Georgia and Yasmin. There was
the lip sync for the top 2.
Yep. I swear there's another one as well.
Camden and someone and Adaya. So that's 4 already, technically.
I feel like there's another one as well.
Yeah.
But it might not be. But anyway, even if it's 4 out of episode 9, this is on. So like almost half the episodes now has gone home. This is what I mean. So like just at this point, like everyone's over people not going home. Just bring another couple of queens. I think with the 2 openings, we would have had plenty of time to like get to know them as well. And like, if they were shit, they could have gone home. Like, I don't know.
Next episode, we're going to be told there's a game within a game. And
that's the thing. I just don't need like an extra X number of episodes of like Jasmine or Georges or like, I don't know. Although I said Jasmine really has started to flourish, but like, do you know what I mean? It's the same queens of Deja. I just had my feel like even if queens are good, for example. I'm just a bit like, I get it. Like, I don't need to see, I don't necessarily need them to be in there for all these extra episodes.
No, and let the season breathe. Yeah. Like, it's fine to have a season finish after 10 episodes.
Yeah. Oh, no, yeah, I completely agree with
season,
that. They can't, they're contractually obligated to provide a certain number.
But why do they go for such a high fucking number?
Because they get way more money. Obviously, it makes sense to do that, but I think just plan it better.
Just plan it better. Do something really clever with those extra episodes.
Yeah.
Because right now it feels like it's being elongated.
Yes.
It doesn't feel like that's come organically necessarily, even though they did flop overall in the Snatch game.
You would know. So should we move on to Untucked?
Yeah.
Because my favourite, there were some really funny moments this episode / Untucked generally. The best one by a mile for me was when who started crying quite a lot? Oh, Georgia started crying like hysterically, and like Jasmine's just like running, running away to the background, like literally me. I just thought it was amazing. It needs to be a GIF now. I can use that for everything.
Yeah.
But she actually just go to get a tissue, which is sweet. But like, it just looked really funny. Or like kind of like bolting, like this. Like
it was also quite weird as well because the camera just stayed on her, just continuously crying, and I just kind of felt bad for her, but also it was just a bit uncomfortable after a while because it just like
it was bad. Like I know, obviously like, editing it, like producing stuff, like it's like. You know they're doing things on post that kind of shit, but like she's literally at a breaking point just before that, and literally she's like, exactly. It was a bit like,
also, like were they being held hostage?
Yeah, her
genuinely.
Family. I know.
Like we are so proud of you.
Yeah,
you are doing really well.
Yeah,
you're here to snatch the crown, make your mother proud. But like, especially the 3 standing in the back just looks so uncomfortable.
Yes, fully. Yeah.
But they're like, because she was crying for so long, all the queens like looks of sort of genuine care just almost seemed like, I do think they were looking at her with care, but it's just sort of after a while, I almost started reading it as them just not caring because Angeria sort of just like,
oh yeah,
like, I'm caring. I'm caring. Also, George, this has been going on for 3 hours.
But also, I do think as well, like, you get home because obviously Drag Race is from 6 or so months before it airs, maybe up to a year. You get home and your family, do you see the message he sent you? Like,
Yeah.
And you're just thinking, fuck, like, I have to see how I reacted to that. Like,
Oh,
because they probably mean it as like a
yeah.
sweet little like pick me up, but like all the queens get so emotional. I'd be like,
Yeah, it's
just
a
a
good
bit
point,
like, do you know what I
actually.
mean? It's a bit like you get home, oh sweet, do you see our message we recorded for you? Like, we hoped it would like perk you up.
It's always them like
Like,
proper ugly crying.
exactly.
Normally just before they're sent home.
Exactly.
Or before they win or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
My only other note from Untucked is I was like fully here for as we sort of touched on earlier, Dove Cameron's sermon about delusion. That's like fully how I live my life. Like I kind of had to, because I actually real talk. I kind of just realized this. You know, like I had extreme like confidence and anxiety issues when I was younger.
Mhm.
I literally had to like become delusional to like, well, like to an extent. Half of it's just like seeing yourself in a more positive light,
Yeah.
but half of it is kind of like being a little bit delusional. Like I think I'm maybe like a little bit arrogant these days, but I'd way rather be that than like extremely like cripplingly self-conscious and like thinking shit of myself.
Yeah.
So like, I kind of feel like you have to be a bit delusional to like get the most out of life, which is kind of what Dove was saying, right? It's just kind of like, if your narrative's not working well for you, like, you know, rewrite it and like feel better about things. That's kind of how I feel. I think you just, I don't know. I just thought that was really good.
And we love your delusion.
Exactly. That's what I mean. Exactly.
You're here to snatch the crown.
I'm always going to snatch the crowns.
Cat meow.
Please don't. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was good. It was sweet. I do also wonder how many of the other queens have sort of played their videos, but we just don't see them.
Yeah. There's only so much you can really have, right, of that.
Yeah. Yeah. But like I thought it was cute, and bless George, it obviously meant a lot. She has been struggling in the competition. It must be hard when you're literally like, you've got to this stage, you see all these other good queens around you, and you know that you're just not hitting the mark. I
agree. I think, as we said earlier on, like, she's just not ready. She should have been hit in a couple of seasons' time, maybe, or maybe even later.
Yeah.
Like she's just not experienced enough to be in a competition yet, and that's why she's floundering, in my opinion. So it's half the producer's fault.
It does strike me as weird that you'd put in at least two really dancery queens and not have a dancing challenge.
What?
Like,
they do next week.
Oh, do they?
Lip sync challenge.
Oh, of course they do.
They've been lip syncing every episode as well.
Yeah, I guess. But you know, like, because in the past they've been like dancing queens have had a little moment to shine, where like they've been flopping at some other stuff, and then they're like, hey, look, here's this thing. It involves choreography.
But they had a couple of singing like group and choreo challenges.
Oh yeah, sorry, maybe they did. Yeah, maybe George is just failing.
Okay. Hey, Kurt, you're right.
Okay.
We're just wrapping up the stream, yo. So yeah, any? Oh no, you rang that bell. That's the thing they say on YouTube. What's the thing I was going to say? So anything else to say about Untucked or the episode?
It was kind of a sweet little Untucked, because obviously everyone's like, who fucking knows? We're probably all going home.
Yeah.
And so I think there was kind of this nice camaraderie instead of like, well, I'm definitely in the bottom. Although, I mean, there was that great moment where like Deja's talking about winning and feeling really happy, and Jasmine's like, essentially like, I'm going to let you finish, but I'm definitely in the bottom.
But also, like, do we need... I agree with, like, that and having pulled up on it. But at the same time, like, do we need every single episode of Untucked? It's, like, a thing that's, like... What's the word I'm looking for? Like, it's more than expected. But, like, entitled, kind of. That's not the word I'm looking for. But, like, is it, like, a queen after they win has to have a moment where they talk about them winning and how good it feels? Like, do we need that? Like...
Then they normally do it after the episode anyway, where, like... The next day when they come into the workroom.
Oh yeah,
there's not anything of like, you were so great.
Exactly. I mean, that's nice as well. But like, there's not even the queen who won themselves talking about like how much the win means to them. I'm kind of like, that's the only thing that's happened really like the last season or two. I'm not into it. And like, and if any queen like wants to not hear the 2-minute long speech about how good it is that they feel for winning, like they're the one. I'm not saying Jasmine was right for interrupting her, but. But you know, but like they're seen as like the devil for like not like honoring their like 2-minute speech about how great they are, or like how great.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
I'm kind of just a bit like I wouldn't do it. I feel like it feels like a dick move to me. If everyone else is like super depressed, and literally everyone else in the bottom, I would be like, girls, I know she did say like, girls, I am sorry that you're in the bottom, but like I have to talk about like how good this feels for 2 minutes.
Yeah,
I'm just a bit like, okay, at least you acknowledge it, but also just don't do that. Just be like. Again, like I think it seems douchey. It always puts me off when they do that, and everyone does it. So it's not just Deja. But I think it's a bit. I don't know. It's just not the one for me personally.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. It was also just made me think that the wins are really weirdly dispersed now.
Well, I think that's part of the reason they're doing it as well.
Because now we've got like Deja and Daya both got a win, as has Willow. Angeria and Bosco have 2. I'm sure somebody else has got something, right?
I don't know, I've lost track. But it's one of the most even seasons in terms of wins, but I think that is a lot of that is engineered.
Yes.
So I don't know. Kurt, to answer your question, it was a bad Snatch Game. I don't think it was one of the worst personally. We talked about it earlier on, but I think a lot of it was down to editing and the atmosphere in the room. Personally, I think actually it was one of the stronger ones generally compared to all the history of Snatch Games. Because I think like there was no super awkward, super horrific performances really. Like it was, all of them were doing fine. It was just It was just very few like hilarious or laugh out loud moments.
Yeah.
None of them were like super awkward. It was more just the editing and lack of laughing that made it feel more awkward.
So if we'd had Cornbread, do you think Cornbread would have won Snatch Game? I feel like she might have.
Potentially.
She'd at least been safe.
Oh, of course. So yeah. So CUNTs?
Yeah.
Okay. Charisma. I know who mine is.
Oh god, I'm blanking on who even any of the queens are.
Should I do one?
Yeah.
Dove Cameron.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. That is the
great.
best choice. Yes, I will agree.
Cool.
With
So
you.
we can agree on these. Uniqueness.
I'm gonna go for Daya. Like such a cool, like crazy concept. No, she's getting nerve. Who uniqueness? I think maybe Willow for that runway.
I knew you were going to say that.
I would say her. I love her, but I do think I agree with you that it's not as good as it could have been. I think it needs to be more a bit more elevated, and a bit more grisly.
Yes,
because that's actually quite pretty.
Yeah. No, I agree. For me, I would have said maybe. Thanks, Kurt. I would have maybe said Willow as well, but because she is always so unique every episode of her looks, for me it's less unique. Whereas someone like Jasmine, I didn't expect her to do that, and I was really caught off guard by it in a really positive way. So I'm giving her my uniqueness for that.
Yeah.
Nerve,
I'm giving to well, so many people could get Nerve for this. I'm going to give Nerve. I can't believe I didn't give charisma to Michelle for her investigations. That was funny.
Oh, that was really funny.
That was really good. Nerve to, I want to say to Daya again for that concept. I think maybe to Rue for
That's what I was going to say.
Them a bone.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah, exactly what I was going to say.
The absolute audacity.
Fair. Talent. I think we have to.
What are you thinking?
Deja for Snatch Game. She's the only one who showed it like a significant amount of talent. Actually, controversial, but I'm going to give it to Willow just for her character, purely for her characterization.
That was really good.
I just feel like, again, from the few clips I've watched so good. From the few clips I've watched of Drew Barrymore show on YouTube, like she had it down to a T.
Yeah.
So you know what? I think that takes a lot of talent, like the voice, mannerisms, like even what she was saying. Like it might not necessarily have been the funniest, but like I think the characterization was spot on. So yeah,
that's fair. I mean, I think because I've already used that Willow, I'll just go with Deja. Which makes me sad because I don't even think it was that great at Snatch Game. I think it was just funny.
I laughed the most at it though.
Are you going to remember it?
No.
Apart from
No.
I kind of like I feel with Silky's Snatch Game.
Yeah.
I literally cannot remember what she said.
No, so.
But I can remember every other Snatch Game.
No, I agree. Show recommendations?
Yes.
So, do you have one?
I had a really good one in mind the other day that I was going to say for this. If you are London based, there is an exhibit in at the Barbican Centre around queer history that's really fun.
I'm going to burn it down.
I thought you would.
Thanks. Mine is Dove Cameron's music, Like I found her. It was recommended for like YouTube recommendations. I was listening to something else. I'm like, oh, it looks interesting, and I really like it. Like my favorite song by her is "So Good." It's called "So Good." It's quite unique. It's like a really cool, like lo-fi, chill pop kind of thing. And I really "Lazy Baby" is like probably her biggest song. "Taste of You" is good as well. I don't have new song "Boyfriend" I'm less keen on, but it's quite cool. She's quite like her songs about like. It's called like the lyrics like I can be better boyfriend than him kind of thing. It's like her seducing a girl kind of thing. So she's quite like cool and chill, like a Disney star in that. So
is she Disney star?
I think she is. So I only found her through like her new songs, but I think she might be. But yeah, I just think she's a cool person. I like her music, so I recommend checking out some Dove Cameron stuff. Cool. So we done?
I think so.
Cool. I feel like bear in mind it's a weird episode and we were both a bit low energy. I think well done for this stream.
Yeah, pats on our back.
Exactly. #delusional.
Everybody do your best Drew wave to say goodbye. It's sort of like
it's like
a little claw. Yeah.
I can't really do it.
I can't. It was really well done.
Do you know much about it, Kurt? Message me. We need to end the stream now. But yeah. Okay. Thanks for checking out the stream, guys. Hope you all had a nice weekend. We'll see you next week, hopefully.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
You got away.
Love you guys. Oh no, what?
Do you get through wave?
It's sort of like